everyone, welcome back to the kitchen, where right now, today, this week, what we have been talking about, what I'm talking about, summer classics. Why summer classics? Well, it's summertime, huh? And next week is 4th of July. That is a very exciting time, especially when you talk about food and gathering people together and everybody enjoying and celebrating and kids running around playing. And the most common activity is cooking out and everyone trying each other's food. Over here where we live, our cul-de-sac is always a big potluck and everyone gets together and the kids run around and everybody brings something different. And that's my favorite part. Not because there's so much food, but because I get a kick out of trying everybody else's stuff and seeing what I may or may not be able to do or tweak or change or just take home and finish later when no one's watching. What we've been talking about this week, the other day, a video on properly boiling pasta. We've got a video with making pasta salad and creamy potato salad. Today, I want to talk about grilling a couple of classics because frankly, next week, when hopefully everyone's doing their get-together and celebrating, these are all the dishes that we'll be eating. Pasta salad, potato salad, macaroni and cheese, baked beans, ribs, chicken. What I want to do today is I want to grill some burgers and for the sake of timing, throw on some hot dogs as well and just show how to make everything as aesthetically pleasing as possible. Pleasing, not peasing. Aesthetically pleasing as possible and get all your friends and family excited about eating it. You know, over the years, burgers have been done and redone and changed and upgraded and downgraded and worked all around the world. And we seem to forget how simple and basic it is to have a really great, juicy burger with or without cheese. And all you really need is a few simple things and then ensure that you follow a few simple steps and you get a great burger that everybody loves. So here's what I want to do. I want to make your simple, basic burger. No added extras, just basic. And here's how we're going to do it. We've got a nice pound and a quarter ground beef, 80-20. Now, depending on where you go, if you're lucky, you could go someplace, maybe to a butcher shop and get yourself some ground ribeye. Ground chuck is really nice. I've got nice ground beef. I'm very selective about what I'm purchasing and where I'm purchasing it from. I really want to look at the color. I really want to read the meat fat content and see what the percentages are. 80-20 is really nice because it's lean, but it's not super lean. There's a good 20% of fat in there, so that provides some flavor and some juiciness. And I like that for a burger, especially when I'm cooking for a bunch of people. And to keep it so that it attracts everyone, I want to keep it simple. What I don't want to happen is have everybody get together and they see the burgers and they go to grab one and they ask what's in it and you start rattling off everything that's in the burger and you find out somebody doesn't like onions or is allergic to mushrooms or I don't want cheese. If you keep it simple, the goal should be to make them look gorgeous and then everybody eat them all. That's what we're after. So let's do that very, very easily. We've got our meat, Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire sauce, okay? 1 ounce Worcestershire. Dump that right on your ground beef. I took a ½ teaspoon of finely ground black pepper and 1 teaspoon kosher salt. Dump it in. 1 teaspoon chili powder. That's it. I'm not putting anything else in here. All I'm going to do after that is make some patties. I'm going to get this all over the place. And what I'm relying on is the quality of the meat and the percentage of meat to fat to provide us with nice, juicy, flavorful burgers. And all I did was give it a little bit of extra help with just those 3 products. That's it. That was it. Salt, pepper, chili powder, and Worcestershire. Now you are seeing me do this with my hands, not with a spatula. I do want to keep it light, so I'm not pushing hard. I'm not mashing it down much. I'm just moving it all around, and then I'm done. Okay? Now, with a pound of meat, you can easily get 4 burgers. Or if you want to get them on the bigger side and really make people go, whoa, you can get 2, but that's huge, okay? We don't want to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this meat and make 3 nice sized patties. That's it. See that? 1/4 of an inch thick. About the size of my palm. Depending on how big or small your hands are. But if you're someone that's got really big hands, try to keep it inside. If your hands are on the smaller side, overlap the edges. But that's all. That's it. So we've got our burgers. As said in every video, always wash your hands after handling ground meat. So let's rinse that off. And in case you're wondering, why are we making a video on just grilling some burgers? It's because, frankly, burgers are a staple to cookouts and get-togethers. I mean, who doesn't like a great burger, huh? And what I want everyone to see is how simple it is to make a highly attractive burger that everybody wants to try and keep it really sweet and juicy. And you don't need to add a lot of stuff to do it. We put our chili powder, our salt and pepper, and Worcestershire sauce. And that's it. Now, we're going to take these outside and grill them up. And we're going to do one more little thing. It's your tip for grilling burgers that I know, and I'm sure a lot of people do. Some people forget, but I can guarantee you that every restaurant does it everywhere. Even though we've mixed in our seasonings and we've got our liquid and we've formed our burgers, that's all going to cook in. That's all going to become part of the burger. So let's season the outside. You're going to season the top and the bottom of all of your burgers before you put them on the grill with a highly complicated seasoning. Onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. 1/2 teaspoon of each. That's it. Onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper. That's it. 1/2 teaspoon of each one. And I'm just going to sprinkle it on top of each burger. And when I get them outside and put them on the grill, I'm going to flip them over and season that side. And that is all, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to go make some amazingly juicy burgers. All right, let's go ahead and grill these burgers and get them beautiful. Grill's nice and hot. Made sure it was well over 500 degrees. It's definitely smacking me right in the face, so it's over 500 degrees. I'm going to put the burgers on with the seasoned side down. Did you hear that sizzle? Ha 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 ha. I love sizzle. There, burgers on, seasoned side down. I'm going to put the seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper on the other side of all 3. It's a couple pinches, maybe 3 pinches each. And let me tell you, you can already, as soon as that hit with that heat, I got a waft of onion powder right in the face. I love that. I love that smell. Oh, it has a sweet finish to it. I love it. You hear that sizzle? It's nice and hot. That's what you're after. A nice hot grill. You hear sizzle when you put that meat down? Oh, can't beat that. So let's go over a thing or two while these are getting started. How do you like your burgers cooked? Or More importantly, if you're entertaining, how do your guests like burgers cooked? If you're doing a rare burger, that's maybe 3 minutes on each side. You know, timing is important, especially when you're cooking for other people, because remember, we're looking for aesthetically pleasing food. We want it to look gorgeous. I don't want it to look burnt or even raw, no matter how I'm cooking it. So timing is important. 3 minutes for rare, 4.5 minutes medium rare. If you're doing a medium burger, 5.5 minutes. Medium well, 6 to 7 minutes. Well done, 8 plus, closer to 9. On either side, all of those times, each side, okay? That's important. Now the first 90 seconds or so, I'm not touching this. Whether you leave the top up or down, really doesn't matter. I'm just trying to let everything form a crust. We talk about that in every video. Forming a crust on that initial side, your presentation side, it's important. So let it sit 90 seconds or so. And then I'll turn the burgers, make our diamonds. Our presentation side is set, flip them over, and let them finish. And that's it. It's that simple. Closing it up, letting the heat build, getting the temperature back up to 500 or so, gets nice and hot and smoky in there. It really starts to cook and encompass all of the meat, top and bottom. Open her up, it just slows everything down, but it's still going to cook, and it's still going to be amazing. I can hear it from here. Oh, that's cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we'll let them go for a few more seconds, and then we're going to give them a quarter turn clockwise. Oh yeah. You're starting to see browning on the edges. Beautiful. And now that I'm looking at these, especially now I'm standing back a little bit, these are a little bit more half inch thick. Quarter inch, I was off a little bit. So yeah, these are definitely more of a half-inch thick burger. And that's okay, because the timing, that timing works out perfect. 3 to 4 minutes on the lower end, 8 to 9 minutes on the higher end. Personally here, we're more of medium well to well done when it comes to things like burgers and ground beef. So I'm in no hurry to let these cook, but I do want to make sure that they look beautiful. And in order to do that, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn all of them clockwise. There we go. And since they're only going to sit on this side for another minute or so, 2 minutes at the most, I'm going to let it sit open for a minute. I'll cover a thing or two. I don't know if you saw the flame or not. I don't want you to ever be intimidated when you see a lot of flame or high heat. 80-20 meat, you're going to have that. The higher the fat content, the more you're going to see the flames. And it's not because your gas is up too high or anything like that, or your charcoal's too hot, whatever you're cooking with. It's frankly because that's the fat dripping off. And the more that drips off, the more it sparks up. And that's where the flame and heat comes from. So if you have really lean meat, 90-10, 93-7, you'll see little to no spark and high flame because there's very little fat to render off, you know. Just depends on what you're cooking. Like I said, we're cooking 80-20, so I'm getting some grease drippings and I'm seeing some flames come up. And I think that's great because nothing attracts people more to the grill, especially on a day like the 4th of July, than seeing all the flame and the smoke and everything's cooking and everybody wants to know what's going on and what's for lunch. It's a conversation piece. Roll with it. I'm telling you, roll with it, especially if you want to impress your friends. Let's let these go a little bit more, and then we're going to flip them over. And then we will introduce our hot dogs to the grill. And I'll explain why we waited a few minutes. Let's give these guys a flip and see what we're working with. Oh, beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. Yes. I love it. So I'm calling that my presentation side, because frankly they look gorgeous. Now, I know you're thinking it's going to have cheese melted on it, so who's going to see it anyway? Yes, that's true, but you never know. I promise you in your group there's going to be somebody that doesn't want cheese on their burger, and you want to make sure you give them a gorgeous burger to look at, right? And we do that by paying very close attention to what's going on. The more this is cooking, the hotter the grill gets, the less I want to walk away, because I don't want them to burn. I don't want them to char. I want them to have a beautiful look and a nice juicy flavor. And to make sure of that, whether you're cooking a burger rare or well done, stay away from this. Stay away from pushing. Stay away from squeezing out the juice. That will speed up the cooking process the more you squeeze it down. The more everything leaks out the bottom, the more the grease hits the flame, the more the flame comes up, the faster it's going to cook. The better chance you have of drying out your burger. Don't do that. Let it sit. Same principle with making pancakes. Don't pat down your pancake after you flip it over. It just makes it hard. Don't squeeze your burger while it's cooking, because you're just going to dry it out. We don't want that to happen. So you see these lines, you see these grill marks? That's exactly what the presentation side of a well-grilled burger should look like. See the juice running off? See that? The grease running down means the fat is rendering. And when you give it a push like that, you'll get some flame. See that? But I don't want to push on them because I don't want to dry them out. I want to let them cook. I want to let that juice slowly come off and naturally happen. I don't want to force it to happen. We've been on the grill now for a few minutes, 5-6 minutes total, and now is a good time to go ahead and introduce our hot dogs, because they don't take as long to cook. So let's go ahead and put those down and let them get started. I don't want to do it all at the same time, because hot dogs don't need as much time as burgers do, and this grill is really hot. So we've got our hot dogs on, our burgers are cooking. When hot dogs hit the grill, you got to keep moving those. See, the important thing about hot dogs to remember is hot dogs are already cooked. You could eat a hot dog cold straight out of the fridge. It doesn't need to sit on the grill as long as burgers do, because they're already done. If you let them sit on there that whole time, they're just going to burn. I don't want that to happen. I just want to get a nice flame char on them. So I let them sit 90 seconds or so on each side, but I keep moving them until they get that nice dark brown and the grill marks. And then they're done, nice and juicy. The last thing you want to happen is for it to turn all black, or for it to, they explode. If a hot dog gets too full of juice and too hot, it just pops. We don't want that to happen. And now that we've made our presentation side to our burgers, I always move them a little bit, because no two grills have the same hot area. So I like to move it around and make sure that everything cooks evenly, but I don't need to flip them over, because I've already got my pretty side set. I just don't want to let the other side burn. No, don't want to do that. So I just keep moving them. Keep my hot dogs moving. And when you are close to the temperature you want your burger, and you do it by time and feel, the harder it feels, the more of a well done you're getting. And the most important thing is time. Just like with cooking everything else, time. And we're coming up on that 8-minute mark, so we're about to hit that medium well. So what I'm going to do for the last minute to 90 seconds of it is I'm going to move the burgers that I want to put cheese on up a rack. If you have a second rack, if you don't have an upper rack, move it over. Move it off the direct heat and put the cheese on and close the top, and that's how we can slowly let the cheese melt and make that gorgeous circle where it kind of folds over and covers the burger like a blanket. Makes it look beautiful for everyone. So I make sure I get the one that is just about where I want it to be. I'm going to move it up, drop my piece of cheese on, and I'm going to take it all. There, perfect. Check our hot dogs. They still got a little bit more to go. And close that top up. We're going to let that cheese melt all by itself. not going to interrupt the process in any way, shape, or form. And then we're going to take these off and go get ready to plate a gorgeous burger that everybody is going to want to have, as well as a beautiful hot dog. Because who doesn't love a good hot dog? Especially in a cookout. Who's keeping count? 15, 25, 35. Let's watch the time. See, that cheese is starting to fold over. I'm going to remove these hot dogs. They are done and beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and give that cheese a few more seconds. And we did it. Wrapped around the burger beautifully. The timing came out great. I can tell by the feel and the time on the clock that these are done. And we're ready to go inside. We made our burgers, our hot dogs, and we have everything set to present to family, friends, guests, who's ever coming over for your next cookout, for your next get-together, for the 4th of July. And this was all about doing it in a classic form, back to basics. And from here on out is where you let your guest create their masterpiece. You set the stage with perfect ingredients, cooked properly, gave them something nice and savory to enjoy. Now let them build it. Barbecue sauces, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, a special Golden Arches secret sauce, anything fun. Let them create whatever they want. But you've laid the groundwork with perfection. And it's so simple to make things beautiful, especially if you're plating them for everyone so they can see it. I love things like Boston Bib. Baby Boston Bib lettuce. It's such a pretty lettuce, and the way everything sits on it, it just makes things more beautiful. A couple of white onions, white onion, yellow onion, Vidalia onion. Great with things like this, great with burgers, because they still have that flavor, that sweet onion flavor, especially of Vidalia. But when you get into things like Spanish red onions, it becomes such a powerful flavor. Especially when you make a burger like this, it can completely take over everything, and you don't want that to happen. You just want some extra zings. Farmer's Market fresh ripened tomatoes. I really love the Farmer's Market. And the fact that there is one less than a mile from where I live is not good for me. But it is fun. Everything sits together and is beautifully done. Huh? Isn't that beautiful? Does this not scream classic cookout? It sure does to me. All kinds of debate between whether or not a hot dog gets ketchup or mustard, or both. I am a mustard man myself, but opinions vary. But this is beautiful. This is what a cookout is all about. You take these, the potato salad we made, the pasta salad we made, put all that together, and your 4th of July is set. And you'll be showing off for everybody, which is what we're after. That's what you want to do to make it fun. Your goal, when you're done, is that all the food you made is gone. And in order to do that, make it look beautiful and make sure it tastes great. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have a great week. Please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. Share it with all your friends and everyone you know. And don't forget, next weekend's 4th of July. So let's start prepping all this and getting it ready. Folks, take care. Bye-bye.